From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, this is Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us, with your hosts, Louis Starr, Greg Perry, and Scott Robinson. Tonight's special guests are Sarah Belt, live from Seattle, and local tobacconist, Craig Perry. And now, on with the show. Welcome, one and all. I am Scott Robinson, one of your hosts, and I want to be the first to welcome you to our inaugural podcast of Beyond the Humidor. And you're probably wondering what we're all about and where we came from. This is a labor of love that we've been working on since the Big Smoke in November in Las Vegas. And I want my co-host Louis to talk a little bit about that. If you would, Louis, I'd give you an intro.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
All right.
So as Scott touched on a little bit, we're here in Loomis, California, and a group of us decided to go to the Big Smoke this past November in 2018. And while we were out there, we had on shirts that represented who we were and where we were from, the Loomis Cigar Cartel. And it got a lot of attention, a lot of good attention, as a matter of fact. A lot of people were wondering if we were part of the event, which we were not. We were just there like everyone else. And after having met a couple of people that we know and some that we wanted to know, like Cynthia Fuente for one and Oscar Valadares for another, and people were just gravitating towards us and giving us compliments for the shirts, which was a good feeling. And then Oscar had one of his associates look for us and said he wanted to have a picture op with us, and that felt good because now we're starting to feel like celebrities. And I said, okay, well, let's do that. And we took some good pictures, had some good laughs and discussion with them. And then on top of that, we had a lot of people that were asking about, do we have a card or extra shirts because they wanted to help represent what they were seeing us do. And we didn't. And long story short, Scott and I, in a ride around in an Uber as we were trying to kill some time before we took our flight back to California from Las Vegas, got into a very deep conversation about what just happened at the Big Smoke, and it seemed like it was a great opportunity, right, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. We were sitting there just fleshing out ideas of, where could we go with this? What could we do with this? And we just made the big statement, this either means something or it doesn't.
Right.
And we started fleshing out ideas, like I said, and Greg was driving back from Vegas to Northern California, which he will never do again.
A 12-hour misery in the car.
So, of course, he wasn't with us, so I had to text him. And I'm texting paragraphs as Louis and I are talking, and the ideas just kept coming out. We were talking about shirts and doing podcast and all of this, and Greg can attest. I mean, his phone blew up between Barstow and Bakersfield, I think.
Pretty much. That was about right, because that's where we stopped for a break.
Yeah, and to add to that, we just realized that one of the things in having this discussion with Scott, and we got very much excited about this and said, even though there's a lot of people out there doing this kind of thing already, that doesn't mean there's not room out there for us. And essentially, we'll just be another flower in the garden. And there's room at the table for what we want to do and then more. We're going to take our time, try to get this right, and make sure that we bring a value add to the listener about what it is that we're presenting. Would you guys agree?
I do agree. I think because, we sit here in this lounge, and we'll get to this lounge in a little bit when we talk to one of our guests here, but we sit in here, we talk, we solve the world's problems, and if you look at the group that's with us now, the five of us here on this podcast, it's almost 90 years of experience that we want to bring to you. And that was really the catalyst to what is now known as, that you're listening to, Beyond the Humidor.
I'm not that old, Sonny.
No, not quite. You are old enough to be my father, though.
Oh. All right, son.
Do you have daddy issues? Not quite. So, we sat and thought down. Scott, Lewis, and I sat down and we went, okay, if we're going to do a podcast, what are we going to do? And we sat down in the shop and started talking about it. And then my brother, who if you don't know, which none of you do, my brother is the tobacconist here at Tobacco Republic. He is kind of looks like me, both bald, and so we got him involved in this discussion of what are we going to do with it. And there's the cliches of cigar smoking where we can talk about tastes and how to cut and light and everything. And yeah, we're going to cover those subjects. But the lifestyle is so much bigger than that. There's so much more that goes along with it. There's friends, camaraderie, fine beverages, the food. Let me tell you, our resident cook over there in the corner who's quietly looking at his laptop here. There's also the things we do, all of our different hobbies in this group. So we have a wide array of things to talk to you folks about today. And in future episodes, one of the things is our beverage tonight. So, Scott, without having to reach for the bottle this time, what is it that we're drinking tonight?
Well, we are enjoying some Glenfoudre 29-year-old Speyside single malt scotch in celebration of our inaugural episode. So I will just say real briefly as I tilt my glass, cheers.
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 Can't go wrong with a single malt.
None of that blended surprise either.
Oh, there's a story behind that, and we'll tell that eventually. But if you haven't tried this scotch, it is really delightful. Very smooth, notes of caramel. You can't go wrong with it. Smoking it with my go-to cigar, and we'll talk about that as we talk about what we're smoking tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, since we are on the subject right now, I am smoking an Illusion 88, actually made by tobacconist Don Giolito out in Reno, Nevada. Dion, and very smooth smoke, little complicated on the end, but I love it very much. Every time I come in here, 7 times out of 10, I'm going for an 88. Lou, what you smoking?
Well, I happen to have what I would passionately call the unicorn. And I say that only because once a year is when I know I can find this particular cigar from Drew Estate, and it's the UF4. The UF4 is a full-body smoke. I'm more of a Maduro guy most of the day. And this one has some very fine, complex notes. And it's pairing well with this single malt that we're drinking. I got a little touch of cedar, some earthiness to it, but a lot of complexities going on my palate. But this UF4 is a pleasure to enjoy. And if you never had one, I say find one, cut, light, smoke, and enjoy.
That sounds like an amazing time. Hey, Sarah, since you're so quiet and patient there with us, what you got going on there up in the land of rain?
So no rain while I have been here.
Yay.
All right.
Yes, actually some very beautiful days. But I went diving into somebody else's humidor and found a 2017 Saints and Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Which is line from Tatuaje.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. Pete Johnson's line.
Yep.
Yeah. And what are you drinking?
I am drinking nothing right now because I had to step away to join you fine fellows.
Oh,
well, that's just not fair.
But we appreciate it nevertheless.
I thought you were having a triple mocha latte, something more or another that I.
That's way too fancy for her.
With almond milk and soy.
Yeah, with a dash of goat hair. I don't know.
Just a sprinkle.
Okay.
Just a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Served slightly tepid, I take it.
So, Craig, on that note.
With an air of smugness, right?
Yeah.
Smugness with a dash of pretentiousness.
There you go.
What are you smoking, Craig?
I am smoking a Don Benigno Liguito #1. It is one of my favorite cigars. It is a nice Costa Rican Connecticut. It's one of those cigars that you take a cube of butter and you throw it in a hot pan. That's that rich, buttery smell. Such a beautiful smoke. Oh, I love this cigar.
You mentioned butter, 2 tablespoons, and you've got roux.
Especially with some flour.
I don't know. You just reminded me of Ricardo Montalban with the Corinthian leather.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Corinth make the best leather.
Yes. No, that was a great stick. So what else we got going on?
Well, I don't know. I haven't told you what I'm smoking yet. So
that's what I'm waiting for, dude. Come on.
Well,
now.
there's dramatic. Got to have a dramatic pregnant pause there, So I'm smoking a Wild Hunter. It's by Oscar Valladares. If you haven't tried this particular cigar, I suggest you run out to your tobacconist and get one. It is a Habano wrapper with a Habano binder and filler. Great cigar. It comes in natural and Maduro. And think about this, listeners. And Craig, you might want to input on this. I don't know of a tobacconist crazy enough to Maduro a Habano leaf, but apparently that's Oscar.
Oh, sure. Why not? I mean, he's struck gold with every cigar. He's never let me down once. God, I love Oscar.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I wouldn't kick him out of bed. I'm just saying.
Oh
my.
And that, folks, will be our third show.
Well, since we all sat here and talked about the current cigars that we're smoking, I think it'd be interesting to talk about our first cigar because we all started from somewhere. You want to kick it off for us, Greg?
Well, sure. Why not? So my first cigar was, in fact, I'm slightly ashamed to say, in the Little Boys Humidor here at Tobacco Republic. It's our infused humidor. And a buddy of mine who you will meet, we'll have him on the program. His name is Wes. He was bugging me for probably a good 18 months. Come on up. Come join me. Smoke a cigar with me. And, I've always found out the smoking was bad, and that's what I figured it was. So I would always refuse. And finally, one night I said, you know what? Let's go. Up we went. Got up to the shop here, met the owner of the shop, met one of the clerks that was here at the time, and they treated me to a infused cigar. It was actually mojito rum because I'd never smoked a cigar before. It was really good back then, but about 6 months into smoking, I graduated out of that humidor and got into the big boy humidor. So, I mean, it was just a great cigar, and that's when I learned. I got my toe wet in the cigar culture and learned part of what it was and how much fun it was to come up here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey, Craig, what about you, man? What was your first cigar?
My first cigar came with kidney stones, Vicodin, and beer, but it's always
sounds like a party.
It's always a good time. It was a cold infusion tea that Wes and Greg gave me when we were up camping at Prosser. So you just gotta set the mood. There were three guys we shoved into a PT Cruiser, and I wasn't originally going to go. They said, hey, why don't you come along? And I said, I can be miserable up there too. So we had to unpack some gear, and then I was stuck in one of the seats, crammed in there with gear piled on top of me. I couldn't even see out the window, and that was my first cigar, and I never looked back from there.
I don't know which story is sadder, you rolling in a PT Cruiser or Greg in the infused humidor.
Well, what Craig's neglecting to leave out is the campsite next to us was full of college co-eds, and neither Craig, Wes, or myself had the stones to go over there and say, hi.
Survey says we blew it.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Greg.
There's my helmet and red balloon.
I'm a notorious coward. What can I say?
Absolutely.
I got a coloring book. You want to join me?
So on that note, our resident techno weenie, Sarah, what was your first cigar?
So my first cigar was some coffee infused something or other. I was out with some friends. They did a wine and cigar night, and they were all smoking cigars. And somebody went, "Hey, Sarah, would you like to try one?" And I said, "Sure, I like coffee. I'll try this." And I enjoyed that so much that somebody pulled out a Drew Estate Acid Extraordinary Larry, and that was the first real cigar that I smoked. But then shortly after, I moved on into a different world.
Went into the big humidor, did you?
You sure did.
Gotcha.
How about you, Lewis?
Well, since I'm the oldest of the group, let's see.
I didn't say it.
My daddy used to roll cigars. No.
I didn't hear you, Sonny. Can you speak up?
Oh, Sonny.
Well, my dad used to smoke cigars, and I remember going to the store, and he'd always just want 2 sticks and a pack of Pall Mall, which I don't know why he would smoke that after the cigars. But anyway, there was either, a Dutch Masters or El Producto, White Owl, because we didn't have the essential smokes that we have today back then. And, I cheated one day and said, well, if my dad's smoking these, every guy looks up to his father, and I cheated and smoked one and didn't know better and inhaled and got sick as a dog. And I won't tell you what age I was, because then, that might look really precarious. But anyway, so my real cigar was with a bunch of friends, and we sat down. We actually smoked a full box of the Partagas 1854s, and I was hooked. I started just going from there, and I touched on a lot of other good sticks, and my palate's changed over the years, but still, Partagas Series D number 4 is still a go-to for me, and I still hope to discover some more new smokes as I continue this journey of smoking. What about you, Scott?
Well, I've been smoking since 96. And what happened was my old college roommate caught up with me, and he had asked me to write him a recommendation for the Los Angeles Police Department, which I did. And through his interview process, I guess he got a hold of the letter and really loved the letter and the things that I said about him. And as a gesture of gratitude, he offered, hey, let's go smoke some cigars. And we actually went to a Starbucks on their patio, ordered some coffee, and we smoked Macanudos, a Churchill.
Harum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at a Starbucks. Can't do that today, folks.
No, definitely not in this state.
They'll call the cops on you.
In case you guys didn't know, we are from California.
But, not only was the cigar, it was just the experience. Being with a friend, just relaxing, reminiscing about old times, the crazy crap we did in college. And for me, the cigar, it was about the cigar, yes, but it was more about the experience. And I've just spent my entire cigar journey just chasing those experiences with good friends, reminiscing. In fact, I have 3 cigars in my humidor, very nice ones. And I've always said, and they're in little tubes, and I've always said something really good happens or something really bad happens. And those are the cigars I will smoke just to sit back on my balcony and reminisce, which Greg and I affectionately call Tobacco Republic West.
So wait a minute. Let me back up a minute here. You have always told me your humidor's open. You just now put limits on 3 cigars. That's just not right, man.
He didn't tell you where they were located.
That's right.
Oh, I'll find them. Trust me.
I want to back up to Lewis. So, Lewis, your first cigar, did your tricycle have a cling cling on it, or was there a card? Was there a card in the spokes?
Actually, we did put the baseball cards in the spokes. The ones that we didn't trade, we put in the spokes. Yes, they did. And we used to have the Iceman come visit and deliver ice. So I'm going way, way, way back.
Was that before or after the dice game you were running?
Quiet. I didn't pay taxes on that money.
Was Yankee Stadium even built yet?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Fenway was.
And although Yankee Stadium was built already, and we were kicking Boston's ass then.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one. How many games back am I? 17 and a half.
Ooh.
In case if you haven't figured out, Lewis is our resident New Yorker and a Yankees fan. I happen to be a Red Sox fan. You're going to hear this all year.
Oh, absolutely. So,
well, moving on, let's talk about Tobacco Republic, because we touched upon it a little bit, and we have our resident tobacconist of Tobacco Republic, Craig Perry, Greg's brother. Craig, tell us a little bit about the shop.
Well, the shop's been here for 24 years. It's grown, expanded, and changed, but not much has changed. It's pretty consistent. We've got, we look for lots of small boutique, small manufacturers, cigars you won't find anywhere with high quality. That's what we look for. We also have Fuente, Drew Estate, and other major brands you've seen as well. But what we look for is those little guys with a cigar that just surprises you, that you'd never find anywhere. And Benigno is one of them. It's one of those real small manufacturers, low productions. They only have 5 rollers at the factory, and they're all Entebon level rollers. Some other guys we have is Aladino and Harachi Robanya, but we'll talk about those later.
Yeah, but I got a question for you now. Where do you keep these little treasures that you find? Because I understand that there's a vault where all the exclusive cigars are placed.
Yeah, it has a passcode and a memory scan and all that kind of stuff. Nobody can get in there, but once you're in, you're in. There's no going back.
Worse than a drug habit.
That's right. It's our black cabinet. You know, it's where we keep our limited production, limited release, our cigars you'll never see again. So it's a special little place.
You either get it now or you don't get it at all.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
You know, hey, Craig, I want to piggyback on something. You were talking about boutique and small manufacturer. Is that what you think makes this place unique or something different?
I think what makes this place unique is the culture and the atmosphere. I mean, what we look for is what makes us different. I mean, because that's what we look for. That's what we like to have. You know, so a cigar that they come in. I've never seen that before, and they come back. Oh, that's a great cigar. I got to have another one. But it's the atmosphere, the environment, the people that come in, all that stuff together. What makes us unique.
Now, how many lines do you think Tobacco Republic carries?
Oh God, probably 40 plus. And on the low end of the estimation, we've got over 700 open boxes of cigars. A lot of cigars.
If any of you listeners out there happen to come to Northern California, Loomis is about 25, 30 minutes north of Sacramento towards Reno. We'd love for you to drop by. You'll have a good time.
And you'll see most of us here because we all live here.
Yeah, we're pretty much lifers here.
And just be warned, when you're driving up Taylor Road, if you sneeze, you'll drive past Loomis before you realize it.
Oh, absolutely. It's a tiny little town.
Oh, crap. How did I get to Newcastle?
What's this Penryn thing?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a one-horse town, but we got a lot of things happening in this town. It's a beautiful place to live. And to add to what Craig mentioned earlier is that there's an eclectic group of people that come in here. And, you know, from one end of the spectrum to the next, at least from my discovery, you're going to find people from every vocation in life. And the only thing I say to anyone visiting, you know, is leave your troubles outside the door, leave your titles outside the door. No one's coming in to hear about how much money you have and what you possess. It's about conversation and getting to know one another and actually, you know, having a good time and yeah, maybe even laughing or even maybe helping a brother out because, again, like I said, there's people in here from every vocation, and you might find someone in here who can help you through a particular situation, regardless of what it may be.
One thing I want to touch on, though, is the cigar lifestyle. Kind of getting on top of what Lewis was speaking of, you know, leaving your title, you know, outside the door. Now, I know for some of us, I myself, and I've been guilty of this, you know, in the start of my cigar journey, that cigars were a luxury item that rich people, drug lords, cartel members and such smoked. And it just, you know, you felt rich smoking a cigar, and nothing could be further from the truth. The cigar community is made up of so many different people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I think that it also does depend. You know, one of the stories that we talk about here in the shop, and I know Lewis has touched on it on a recording that you didn't hear because, well, the little box didn't work. But, you know, when you used to go into a gentleman's club, and this is an English gentleman's club, not an American-style gentleman's club, they would actually take the bands of the cigars off when they smoked it. So you didn't know from one compatriot to the next what they were smoking.
Right.
Just because they didn't want anybody to feel inferior. And that's really what this culture is about. It doesn't matter whether you're smoking a $2 cigar or you're smoking a $100 cigar, which I know you've tried, Lewis.
Yeah, that's another story.
It doesn't matter what the cigar is. It's all part of the brotherhood and sisterhood of the leaf.
Absolutely.
Speaking of sisterhood of the leaf, the lovely Sarah Belt has been sitting there patiently. Tell us, how's your trip?
it has been absolutely wonderful. Just what the doctor ordered. I'm having a hard time getting myself on a plane tomorrow to come back home.
What shops have you visited out there?
So the first shop I came to is a little place called Stogies and Hops. They have quite the beer selection and a really solid cigar selection. And that's where my friend calls home. So I've been here a few times. And then I also got to go out to one of the casinos and check out Lit Cigar Lounge, which was fantastic. Beautiful scenery. The beverages were on point, and the selection was like tiptoeing into Fumari up in Reno. Some really, really nice cigars were there that I hadn't seen in quite a while. And then I also got to check out another casino in Kingston that had not a great cigar selection, but there's a passcode to get into the room, and there are about 12 seats and a couple TVs. Really nice old school style cigar lounge.
Sarah, have you discovered any new restaurants out there? We're always looking for, new places to eat and how we can pair certain cigars with certain types of food. So what have you found while you're out there?
Oh my. So last night I went to quite possibly my new favorite sushi restaurant, which is a bit of an inconvenience because it's several hundred miles away. But it was probably the cleanest sushi I've ever eaten. The nigiri was phenomenal. My friend got a spicy tuna roll, which is not my favorite, but I tried it, and it was unlike any spicy tuna that I've had in California.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. We're always on a search for some good sushi.
No doubt.
Right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a 2.5-hour plane ride for that sushi.
Yeah, not happening.
But, hey, did you get a chance, Sarah? Did you find your way over to Tacoma? I hear there's a lounge there called Smoky Joe's. It's pretty good.
I did not get to go down to Tacoma this trip, but I have heard first-hand accounts of Smoky Joe's, and I'm pretty sure it's as great as everyone talks about.
That might be a trip we all have to take.
Okay.
I'm in.
Well, we'll put that on our list of things to do.
Oh, while you're out there,
Absolutely.
Sarah, if you would, grab me some chowder.
Yeah, sure. I'll put it in my bag.
Oh, hey, I asked you for a favor the listeners don't know about. Did you
You
happen to
did.
find that cigar?
It just doesn't exist.
Damn it.
I'm pretty sure what you asked me is a figment of your imagination at this point.
No, I've seen it. It's on Foundation's Cigar Company's website on Facebook. It's there.
Okay. I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, in all of the shops that I wandered through, I did not find it. But I did try.
Translation,
So,
ladies and gentlemen, you get nothing.
Wah.
Hey, but I tried.
Yeah, you try.
Well, I appreciate you tried anyway.
Of course.
Make sure
Of
you get
course.
on that plane to go home tomorrow. Our campsite is waiting.
Oh, that is the only thing I think that is keeping me going at this point. Because I've heard it's a little warm down there.
It's been beautiful, the 80s the last couple of days, but yeah, it's supposed to start creeping up to the 90s and 100s again.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank
For those listeners that are on the East Coast, we live on the surface of the sun. So
Pretty much.
And it'd be nice, I have to say this too before I transition to the next subject. It'd be nice to have the Techno Weenie back in the home state here.
Oh.
Yes, we do
Why
miss
is
you,
that?
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, hey, while I've got you on here, you haven't chimed in much, so chime in. One of the things that I think really makes this lifestyle appealing to most people is the cigar itself. So what do you think? Why is it the cigar such a special item?
So I will tell you one of my favorite things about, and one of the things that I look forward to when I go to get a cigar is if I've had a particularly long day or tough day, I can wander through the humidor, generally land in that fabled black cabinet, and pick out a usual cigar that I smoke, take the wrapper off, cut it, and light it, take the first couple of puffs, and just relax. And it resets my day, it resets my afternoon. Looking forward to whoever is going to be at the shop when I do get there, and just forget about the chaos of the day up until that moment.
I hear you. I believe that is entirely the truth. It's such an utter relaxation. In fact, Craig and I this morning were sitting on our back patio, mock recording with the dog and a couple of cigars because we had to make sure the road was working right. But yeah,
I should really fire the producer. And his
Yeah.
constipation problems. Jesus Christ.
yeah. But I agree. It's utter relaxation. What do you think, guys? Anybody else want to chime in?
Well, just to echo some of what Sarah just mentioned, the cigar in and of itself, once you get into it, you absolutely have to develop your palate, and so you can't start out strong. You start out light, maybe with a nice Connecticut, something light and mild, and then you start to explore a little bit more and find out, what it is that you truly like. And everybody has their go-to stick, at least one or two of them anyway. I know I have about 3 in my wheelhouse, but it does add a certain element to your day where you can exhale and relax and start to contemplate, what the day has been, plan for what the day needs to be. And oftentimes, I find myself when I don't have a lot of time, I have what I would passionately call a tweener. That's a lunch break, and I'll smoke that, and within 35 minutes, I'm resetting my clock, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not frustrated by whatever may have bothered me during the course of the day, and it's just a wonderful thing to do, whether you're by yourself or if you have, some friends around. And typically, and know this too, a lot of times when we sit together, we don't often have a lot to say. Sometimes we're just sitting and we're enjoying the moment and we're smoking. But then when the conversation ensues, it just takes off, and it can go from one level to another. And at the end of the day, you'd be pressed to try to recall what you even talked about. You just know that you had a good time with some friends, and it was an enjoyable moment with a stick in your hand.
I think grazing on what Lewis and everyone else is saying, there's a certain transcendence when you smoke a cigar. As you exhale, you're letting out all the frustrations of the day. Because many a days I've come in here and felt real Lee Marvin-ish, as in I just want to kill everybody. Frustrating day at work, at home, or whatever troubles are your way.
Hey, you know there's red flag laws, right?
Who, me? I'm a peaceful person.
With holes pre-dug.
Shh, that's a secret.
Sorry.
But for me, it's when I come into the shop, I never know what I'm going to get. Depending on who's here, there's some great conversations, sitting back and relaxing. And I know Sarah talked about a particular shop that had TVs. This particular shop here at Tobacco Republic, we have no TVs, just a radio playing very softly. And the owner purposely did that so that it would encourage conversation. And I think it's a great thing because I've been to shops with multiple TVs and, people are distracted by the TV and aren't really talking, or you're trying to talk over the TV and have conversations. But here, the conversations can run everything, everywhere from rocket science to just really, really horrific jokes.
Yeah, and then there's the occasional fart joke too.
Yeah, and that's it's true of most lounges. I've been to countless number of cigar lounges throughout the states, and typically what I find is the scripts are the same, but the faces have changed. Some of the guys might even resemble some of the people that visit here in Tobacco Republic, but you just explore a little bit, and remember, don't go in there with any superficialities and pretense about who you are and what you have. Just go in there and introduce yourself, sit down, and engage, because that's what it's truly about. And what Greg touched on earlier, it's about making friendships, bridging the gap, and some camaraderie.
And I think everyone echoes this sentiment. I have met some fantastic people here.
Yes, we echo that.
Most of the
Absolutely.
people I hang out with are here now.
That's true.
This
We're
is
all
my new life.
all 5 of us on this podcast, and all the guests that you're going to meet, we've all met at the lounge. We all became friends because of the cigar. So it really does, as Scott said, it transcends everything. So, we've talked a lot in the time this podcast has been running, and I want to touch on a couple things what you can expect, one, from this podcast is none of us are subject matter experts. We're just passionate people. We love good cigars, conversation, good beverage, great food. So what you can expect from us is we're going to impart our limited knowledge, our opinions, and we hope that we can help you along your cigar journey as someone else in the past, and including each other, has helped us on our journey. So that's really what you can expect. And, this is only the first episode of hundreds and hundreds that we can make and are going to make. And our next episode now, that should be coming up in about 2 weeks, because half the cartel is flying out to Denver this weekend for the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, and it's going to be our first visit. We've never done this one before, just as we never did Big Smoke last year. And I'm kind of looking forward to meeting these 40 manufacturers that are going to be there, talking to them about their cigars, hopefully picking up some more good smokes from them, and seeing what's out there. They're feeding us lunch. I mean, this is a really great event. And if you guys are listening and you're out there, we'll be really easy to find. We'll be wearing the Loomis Cigar Cartel logo. Come by and say hi. We'll talk to you. Be glad to spend some time with you and talk about the show. A couple other things I want to touch on before we wind it down here. If you guys haven't visited our website, we have a website set up. It's LoomisCigarCartel.com. The podcast will be posted up there shortly. And in turn, all of them, Lewis, Scott, and I all have blogs up there, so you can enter into some of our innermost thoughts. Scary, I know, but hey, we'll see. We've also got our social media expert, Sarah, who's kindly helping us with our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram account. Those are on the website. Please check us out, like us, make sure, say hi. And if you really want to interact with us, which we encourage everybody to do, drop us an email. You can email either the cartel or you can email Beyond the Humidor. All that is on our website for you guys to check out. And again, that is LoomisCigarCartel.com.
And we welcome all feedback. We're not impervious to having some critiquing being done. But, if we got you critiquing us, that means we're doing something right, because we expect feedback. We expect comments and recommendations and all that good stuff. And you'll get some feedback from us. We'll be just as kind to you as you are to us. And we will grow from this. And like Greg just stated, this is only the beginning. And, folks, it's never how you start. It's how you finish.
I like that. As far as what I'm thinking, or actually what I'm feeling, I'm really excited about this journey we're embarking on. This is just another adjunct to all our cigar journeys, and we invite you to join us, listen to our stories, provide some of your own. We welcome that, and we can all have a good time, basically smoke cigars and talk shit.
In fact, guys, if you want to share a particular story, drop us an email. One of the things we'd love to be able to do is share your thoughts and comments and questions on the air with us. So, drop us a line. Let us know what they are. We'll address as many as we can, as often as we can.
Absolutely. You can tell us about your first cigar. You can tell us about what cigars are in your wheelhouse, or some of the places that you've visited as you've traveled that we may want to visit as well, or we've probably been there, and we can discuss some of the commonalities that we've discovered in those shops. But again, all comments, recommendations, or just if you want to say hi.
Or your glowing adoration is always welcome as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so turn this back over to Scott.
Well, as I said, there's not much more I can say that hasn't been said in a federal indictment.
That's what I was looking for.
So I think we're about at our time. We plan to have some sensational guests for you, and also have some folks from the shop come in from time to time during the show and speak on their experiences as well. So again, we welcome yours as well.
So, Craig, closing thoughts before we wind it down?
Good evening, and God bless.
Sarah, how about you?
You can't follow that, man. That's gold, baby.
Where is Stratosphere?
almost as great as all of your other personas and personalities there, Craig.
Thank you.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime. You know, we're so excited to embark on this journey, and like everybody else has said, we want to hear from you, and we want to hear what we're doing well, and we all want to be in this together, and we can only succeed as far as we can bring you along with us. And I'm a little bit jealous of this weekend, y'all.
Well,
I will say that.
why?
Well, you know what? Actually, Sarah, we would love to have you back here. So get on that plane, come back to town, and we'd love for you to be a regular.
How can you be jealous? You've been involved with every one we've screwed up and lost.
No. I'm just talking about Rocky Mountain.
Well,
okay.
yeah, there's that.
I'm not going either. I'm going to be here smoking cigars, enjoying the peace and quiet.
Don't be jealous. Craig's not going even.
Actually, folks,
good to
no,
know.
he's not.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you know, we'll come back and tell you all about it because we do intend to forge some new relationships, friendships, hopefully. We're going to see some people that we already know in the industry, but there's some others that we are looking forward to meeting that we haven't met yet, and just kind of, you know, tell them a little bit about what we're doing and what we're about, and hopefully, you know, get some interest from them as well. And we would love to have, you know, an occasional special guest from the cigar industry just join us and talk about their product and give us a little bit more of their take on the growing and then the harvesting and the rolling of a cigar, stuff that you know, for those of us that haven't gone to a cigar, you know, safari, and you don't have to. You know, we've had visitors come here and tell us a little bit about, you know, the whole process of rolling and how they get the cigar tobacco, and it's really an enlightenment. Other than that, you know, you can always search, you know, the web, Google, look at Cigar Aficionado or one of those other publications, but it's good to get that knowledge from, you know, someone firsthand. And so as a closing thought, you know, aside from what we're doing and being excited about doing it, we just want to be a little bit better than the rest and bringing you our best. And never miss an opportunity to cut, light, and smoke a fine cigar. In closing, folks, I just want to say on behalf of myself, my co-hosts Greg, Scott, and our tobacconist Craig, and our caller from Seattle, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to speaking to you, and our next podcast will be full of a lot more, and then we'll just respond to some of the emails. I know we're going to get a lot, but I just want to say again, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate your time. Peace out.